Well, in terms of a services-oriented architecture, the hard savings are very, very easy to quantify, in the sense that when you build an IT project, or when you implement an IT project initially, there's probably very similar costs, or there can be very similar costs to doing it as an SOA or as a traditional project. What happens is, as time goes on, the cost of maintaining the traditional implementation increases exponentially over time, because it's totally proprietary. It's maybe you've heard the term spaghetti code, so it becomes more and more difficult to maintain it. By implementing an SOA, you get reuse of your services continually. So instead of building new services and new integration and spending lots of IT money reinventing or rebuilding something very similar, you can reuse the services. So going forward, every time you reuse the service, you're saving essentially the cost of what it costs to implement that in the first place, which you'd normally have to do again in a traditional project. There's also cost savings in terms of with services-oriented architecture, you can have a usage-based approach to your costs. What that means is that traditionally with IT projects, you pay very, very large license fees up front and then maintenance fees. With the advent of services-oriented architectures and technologies that work within that world, a usage-based approach allows you to pay based on what you use, rather than having to pay a big upfront fee. So if you're using a little bit of the service, you pay a little bit. If you're using a lot, you pay a lot. And what that means is then that you're actually paying for your IT out of your current expenditure rather than your capital expenditure. So that also is a huge saving in terms of finance, in terms of budgeting, and in terms of how your IT infrastructure hangs together.